Okay, so this is about T distribution. This is also called as students T distribution. This is also called as students T distribution. Uh, like a normal distribution, student distribution also, there are several student tree distribution. It depends upon the degrees of freedom. It depends on the degrees of freedom. We have different normal curves with for different pairs of mu and sigma. When you change mu, the symmetry will change. Okay, when you change sigma, the spread will change. Okay, so like you have infinitely many normal curves, you will have infinitely many T curves. Okay, T curves. You see, you can see the graphs of different colors, right? So these are all depends on the degrees of freedom. For different degrees of freedom, you will have different curves. What is degrees of freedom? Degrees of freedom refers to the number of independent observations in a set of data. Okay, so in a set of data, how many independent observations are there? That is denoted with the degree of freedom. That is generally denoted with a nu, Greek letter nu. Okay, so this nu equal to n minus one for a single sample. Okay, for a single sample, we take the degrees of freedom as n minus one, and in case of a single mean, if you are testing the hypothesis for single mean, the test statistics will be x bar minus mu by s by root n, whereas in large sample it is sigma by root n, right? Whereas for small samples, population standard deviation will not be known, so you will be taking a sample standard deviation, and sample standard deviation has to be the unbiased estimator. Okay, what do you mean by unbiased estimator? I said in the last class. What do you mean by unbiased estimator? If expectation of a
Statistics.
if expectation of some statistic, okay, is
Equal to
equal to the
corresponding
corresponding
population
population
parameters.
parameter. Okay, corresponding to the some population parameter p, let us say this is the parameter, then we say it is an unbiased estimator, and we have seen that x bar, expectation of x bar is mu, therefore x bar is an unbiased estimator. Also, we have seen that expectation of the sample proportion is also equal to the corresponding population proportion. Therefore, sample proportion is also an unbiased estimator. Okay, whereas this variance, okay, this variance, if you are taking expectation of s square. Okay, so this is not an unbiased estimator. Okay, so when you apply estimation expectation, if you find out mean of the sampling distribution of sample variance, it is coming out to be, okay. I think n minus one by n into s square, n minus one by n into sigma square. Okay, so that means you are not getting expectation of s square as sigma square, because expectation of x square, because expectation of a sample variance is not equal to the corresponding population variance, s square cannot be a unbiased estimate. Okay, estimator. So in order to take an unbiased estimator is so what is s square formula actually, can you tell me? S square is sigma xi minus x bar whole square by n. Do you agree? This, what is x bar? X bar is the mean of the sample data. Okay, you have x1, x2, and so on. Xn observations are there. You take the mean of the sample data, x1 plus x2 plus and so on plus xn by n. That is going to be the mean, sample mean. Using that, this is the formula, statistical variance. Okay, so instead of defining s square as like this, okay, if I define s cap square like this, okay, how n by n minus 1 into s square. Okay, s square is this formula. S square is this formula. If I define like this, then what will be the expectation of s square? Please see, expectation of s cap square equal to expectation of n by n minus 1 into s square. And what is because it is a scalar, n by n minus 1 is a scalar, I can bring that outside, n by n minus 1 into expectation of s square. And what is this, n by n minus 1 into what is the expectation of s square? Expectation of s square is, as I said, n minus 1 by n, right? Is this n minus 1 by n? Let me check once. Right, n minus 1 by n. So this is going to be n minus 1 by n into sigma square. Now these two gets cancelled. You are getting it as sigma square. You are getting a sigma square. So from this, what is your observation? The statistic s cap square. The statistic s cap square is an unbiased estimator. Okay, unbiased estimator, an unbiased estimator of population variance. Population variance. Okay, and for large values of n, this is almost equal to, for large values of n, this is almost equal to sigma square. The problem comes when n is small. Okay, for small sampling, okay, this won't work. Okay, that's why. Okay, for large sample, it doesn't matter whether you take s cap square or s square. Okay, we don't bother much about whether we are taking s square or s cap square. That's why I did not mention about this in sampling. And also we did not compute any sample variance using this formula. Whatever the value is actually given in the problem. Okay, standard deviation value is given. Did we compute anywhere standard deviation or variance using the given data in large samples? We did not use. Am I right?
Yes.
Either they have given population variance, either they have given population. They did not give the sample data. Okay, so that's why it doesn't matter whether you take x minus x bar by actually formula is for large sample x minus x bar minus mu by sigma by root n. This we approximated sometimes with x bar minus mu by mu naught, right? Mu naught by s by root n. Okay, I said when population variance is not given, you approximate that with the sample variance, I said. Okay, and that will be so. Whereas in a small case, small sample case, okay, we'll be using this one. So now what is s cap square? S cap square is, I said, n by n minus 1 into s square. But what is s square formula? Sigma x minus x bar whole square divided by n. Okay, so when you cancel out these two, so what is remaining? S cap square is
Summation of x
x minus x bar whole square by n minus 1. Is that okay? So it is similar to that of sample variance formula. Only thing, instead of dividing with n, you have to divide with n minus 1. That's the only thing. Is this clear to all of you?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Right. So, from now onwards, please remember, by default, whenever you see small sample, And if you are to compute standard deviation, always use the unbiased estimator for the population standard deviation, or use the unbiased estimator for the population variance for S square. Okay, don't use S square. You shall use S cap square in case of small sample. Okay, so that is a default assumption. Then okay, so that is what he is it is talking about. Okay, so because of this, some statisticians choose to define sample variance as S cap square rather than S square. So S square definition is n minus 1. Okay, and student t distribution, it is almost like looks like Z distribution, normal distribution for large samples. Okay, as you increase the degrees of freedom, the graph of the t distribution always tend to approach to normal distribution. See, it is also looking like a bell-shaped curve, no? But the only thing you see asymptote is here. What is it? What is this called? Inflection points are here. Okay, so that will change. That will gradually go here. Okay, as you increase the degree of freedom. Okay, so for large samples, they can be approximated with normal distribution. Okay, so okay, so these are some properties of T distribution. Obviously, distribution means the total area must be 1. That means the area bounded by the curve has to be equal to 1. That is what it is telling. The total area between T distribution curve and the x-axis is 1. That is a basic property of any density curve, any density function PDF. And the mean is 0 and the variance is nu by nu minus 2, where nu is the degree of freedom. It is symmetric about 0. It is bell shaped like normal distribution, having peak at 0. Okay, because it is symmetric about 0, peak you can see it is at 0. Okay, the total area is going to be 1. It is like, it is bell shaped like curve. Okay, and the spread is more, that of the is more than that of the normal distribution. Okay, the larger the degree of freedom, the closer the t density to the normal distribution. Okay, so you can see the comparison between normal distribution and the t distribution. Okay, the spread is 7.4% here. Here the spread is 5%. Okay, so now how do you identify the critical values? Okay, for a t distribution, you are going to find out t alpha. Okay, so you see probably the t greater than t alpha equal to alpha. Whatever the area is right side to t alpha. Okay, if you are writing t alpha here, that means right hand side area to t alpha is going to be alpha. Okay, so sometimes T alpha can be denoted with T alpha comma nu also. See, this is because this is alpha. This has to be denoted with T alpha. Okay, T alpha means the area to the right side of T alpha is going to be alpha. Then what could be the notation for this? Can you tell me? Because it is symmetric about 0, what will be this area?
Alpha
Alpha. Then what is the notation I should give to this point?
minus T alpha.
This is minus T alpha. But what is minus T alpha? According to this notation, what is the notation should I give to this? T, whatever the right tail area is there, whatever the area to the right of this, that is going to be the index. See, index is going to be the right tail area. What is the right tail area? Left tail area is alpha. Therefore, what will be this right tail area? Total area is how much?
Minus alpha.
That's it, right? Total area is 1. Total area is 1. When this area is alpha, remaining area is going to be 1 minus alpha. This area is left tail area. Remaining area is going to be right tail area. Therefore, what is the index I should give? 1 minus alpha. Therefore, T1 minus alpha is nothing but minus T alpha. Do you understand? Do you agree? T1
Yes.
minus alpha is nothing but minus T alpha. Okay, and critical values are going to be plus or minus T alpha by 2 in case of a two-tailed test, plus T alpha in case of a one-tailed test, right one-tailed test, and minus T alpha in case of a left one-tailed test. This is similar to that of the Z test statistic, and you will be rejecting the null hypothesis whenever the test statistics falls in the red region, rejection region. If it is falling in the non-rejection region, you don't reject. So all the procedure is same, exactly same, except computing the test statistic. Okay, and how do we find out the critical values? After choosing the left one tail test, right one tail test, or two tail test, you are going to find out the T alpha. Let us say if you are finding if you are taking alpha equal to 0.05, let us say alpha equal to 0.5, you are applying two tail test. Okay, if you are applying two tail test, then what are the critical values? Plus or minus T alpha by 2. What is alpha by 2? 0.025. Okay, then sorry, then this is going to be T alpha by 2 comma nu. What is nu? Nu I said n minus 1. Okay, and what is n refers to? Sample size. Okay, when you change the sample size, critical value also will change. Okay, for the same significance level, for same level of significance. So if I say sample size is 8, then what will be degree of freedom?
7.
7. So you need to look for alpha by 2 equal to, so this will be alpha by 2 because I am considering two-tailed test. So this is minus T alpha by 2. So this is going to be 0.025. Okay, alpha by 2. So now let us look at the T distribution table, which I downloaded already. So if I look at this table, is it 0.025 is there? Okay. So 0.025 for degrees of freedom. What was the degrees of freedom? 7. Okay, for 7 degrees of freedom, 0.025, the area critical value is 2.36462. If you are rounding to two decimals, 2.36. So 2.36 and minus 2.36. So what are the critical values? Plus or minus T alpha by 2 comma nu is going to plus or minus 2.36. Okay, instead of n equal to 8. Okay, if your sample size is 10. Okay, so let us call this as nu1. What is nu1? 7. What is nu2? 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. For 9 degrees of freedom, what will be the critical values? Nu2. Let us see for 9 degrees of freedom. See, for 9 degrees of freedom, 0.025. This is plus or minus 2.26. Okay, so plus or minus 2.26. So when you change level of significance, critical value change. When you change the sample size also, critical value will change. Similarly, for the same level of significance, if you are choosing right one tail test, then what will be your critical value? Only one critical value. What is that?
T.
T alpha. T alpha. So this is going to be alpha. Alpha equal to 0.05. Okay. Then for 8, what for nu one? For nu one, for 7 degrees of freedom, what will be this? Now you have to look for 0.05, not 0.025, because I am applying only right one tail test. So for 7 degrees of freedom, it is going to be 1.89. For 9 degrees of freedom, it is going to be 1.83. Okay, 1.89, 1.83. Okay. So T alpha comma nu1 is equal to 1.89, and T alpha comma nu2 is equal to 1.83. 1.83. In a similar way, for the same alpha, if I am choosing left one tail test, then what will be the critical value?
T1 minus 1.
Minus t alpha. It is going to be negative value only, no? I just wrote the property, but actually this is minus t alpha because we are computing only positive values. Distribution table is giving us only positive values. Multiply with minus 1, you will get the negative values. Is it okay? So in that case, what are the critical values? Plus or minus 1.89 in case of sorry, it is minus 1.89 in case of a left one tail test with nu 1 equal to 7. Similarly, for minus 1.83 if you take nu 2 equal to 9 degrees of freedom. Is this clear to you? Do you understand now how to find out critical value for different degrees of freedom?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Now we shall see. Now we shall see the small sample test. Okay. All of you put this head heading. I shall share the theory, the notes on this T distribution to you. You can copy that in your notes later. Now we shall directly go into the test. Okay. Put this head heading, small sample test. And under that, first, what is the first one? Test of significance for single mean. Test of significance for single mean. So what is our null hypothesis? Do you recall? For single mean, mu equal to mu naught. Is that okay? Or mu greater than or equal to mu naught, which you don't see in books. Or else
Mu
mu less than or equal to mu naught. Okay. Alternate hypothesis is either mu not equal to mu naught, two-tailed test, or opposite of greater than or equal to is mu less than mu naught, left one-tailed test, or mu greater than mu naught, right one-tailed test. Okay. Now what is level of significance? Choose level of significance. Okay. Choose alpha. Either if it is not given, by default you take it as a 0.05. Okay. Critical values in case of a right two-tailed test, plus or minus t alpha by 2, comma mu. What is mu? N minus 1. Okay. In case of a right one-tailed test, plus t alpha, comma n minus 1. Left one-tailed test, minus t alpha, comma n minus 1. Okay. Remember, mu n minus 1 is equal to DOF. What is DOF? Degrees of freedom. The number of independent observations in a sample data. Degree of freedom mu equal to n minus 1. Okay. So what will be the test statistic here? Test statistic is going to be in case of Z. Can you recall? In case of Z, it is going to be x bar minus mu naught by sigma by root n. Right? In case of in our case, it is going to be t. T is going to be x bar minus mu naught by s cap by root n. What is s cap called? Unbiased estimator, right? S cap square is the unbiased estimator of the sample variance. Okay. So we'll write the test statistic like that. So test statistic is t cap equal to x bar minus mu naught by s cap by root n, where what is s cap formula? sigma xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1. N is a sample size. Okay. So what is your decision in case of a reject? Did I write H naught here? Okay. So reject H naught if two-tailed test, if t greater than, if modulus of t greater than t alpha by 2. In case of right one-tailed test, t greater than t alpha. In case of left one-tailed test, t less than minus t alpha. Okay. T alpha by 2 comma nu. Let us write nu. Okay. Nu or n minus 1. Okay. Otherwise do not reject. Do not reject H naught. Is this okay?
Yes.
Right. Now we'll do some problems. All of you look at the first problem. An ambulance service company claims that on an average it takes 20 minutes between a call for an ambulance and the patient's arrival at the hospital. Okay. So this service company claiming that on an average it takes 20 minutes between a call for an ambulance and the patient's arrival at the hospital. Okay. That is the claim given by the ambulance service company. If in 6 calls the time taken between a call and the arrival at hospital are 27 minutes, 18 minutes, 26 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes and 32 minutes. Okay. So can the company's claim be accepted? Okay. So these are the sample observations. Okay. These are the observations from 6 patients who arrived to the hospital after calling to the ambulance service. Okay. So using this data, we are going to test whether this company's claim can be accepted or not. Okay. Is the level of significance given? It is not given. So let us take it as 0.05. What is the sample size here?
6.
6. Therefore, what will be the degrees of freedom?
5.
5. What is mu naught here?
20.
20. Mu naught is 20. Okay. So with all these things, now we are ready to do this problem. So let us do this. What is null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is H naught company's claim mu equal to 20 minutes equal to mu naught. Okay. Alternate hypothesis is H1 mu. So whether to accept the company's claim or not. That's why we shall write mu equal to 20 against mu not equal to 20. So when I write not equal to, what test I have to apply? Two-tailed. Okay. So now level of significance is not given. Okay. So let us take the level of significance as alpha equal to. Okay. Choose alpha equal to 0.05 with mu equal to n minus 1 equal to 6 minus 1 equal to 5 degrees of freedom. 5 degree of freedom. Okay. Then what is the critical values? What are the critical values? Critical values, because it is a two-tailed test, plus or minus t alpha by 2 comma nu, which is equal to plus or minus t alpha by 2 comma n minus 1, which is equal to plus or minus what is alpha by 2 now? 0.025. 5, degrees of freedom is 4. Okay. Now let us look at the T distribution table, and 0.025 for 4 degrees of freedom, it is going to be 2.78. Let us round off to 2 decimals. It is 2.
Freedom is 5, sir.
Oh, okay, 5 degrees of freedom is 5. Then it is going to be 2.57. 2.57. Okay, so it is going to be plus or minus 2.57. 2.57. Okay, so what is the test statistic? Test statistic. Test statistic is going to be T equal to, okay, x bar minus naught by s cap by root n. Okay, where s cap is equals to sigma xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1. Okay, so now compute, all of you compute, sorry, this is under root, no? Did I write here under root? Here you have to write, if you are not taking here under root, because it is a standard deviation. Standard deviation is the square root of the variance, right? So all of you put square root here. Did you make this correction? Okay, so now all of you find out s cap, or you find out s cap square, then take the square root. Anything is fine. Okay, so what is first, you have to find out the mean, no? So what is the given data?
Mean is 23.
Okay, let me write down the data first. Can you please orally tell me? 6. What is the data? Can you?
U is equals to 20, N is equals to 6.
Where I am? Tell me the data values. Please tell me the data values.
Sir, we did not note the question entirely.
Okay. Okay. So 27, 18, 26. 27, 18, 26. Remaining values 15, 20, 15, 20, 32. 15, 20, 32. Okay. Now from this you can say that x bar is equals to 27 plus 18 plus 26 plus 15 plus 20 plus 32 by 6 is equal to how much you got?
23, sir.
23.0, na? Is it 23 point exactly 23? Hello?
Yes, sir, it's 23.
So exactly 23, okay? So then you find out s cap square, or s cap under root of, okay, so 27 minus 23 whole square plus 18 minus 23 whole square plus 26 minus 23 whole square plus 15 minus 23 whole square plus 20 minus 23 whole square plus 32 minus 23 whole square, dividing with, instead of dividing with 6, we are going to divide with 5. So when you divide with 5, what is the s cap you got? Please tell me.
10.2274.
So 10.227, let's read as 10.23.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Last value I took out. 1 minute.
Okay, let me check cross check with book.
Sir, 7.3075, sir.
No, I think it is they have compute. They got a different value.
6.3875.
Yeah, 6.3874. So when you round to 2 decimals, 39,
39, sir.
39. Okay, so we should take this value 6.39. Okay, now using all these values, you compute t. So what is t? T is equals to x bar minus mu naught by s cap by root n. Okay, so what is the sample mean you got? 23. This is nothing but x bar only, no? Right? Value of the this random variable x bar. Okay, minus mu naught. What is the complete claim? 20 minutes. But sample mean we got it as 23 minutes divided by 6.39 divided by what is the sample size? Root 6. Sample size is 6. So compute this value.
1.15.
1.15.
15.
Now tell me, is this 1.15 in the critical region or non-critical region? So you just write a t distribution like this. Okay, so critical values are 2.57, huh?
Yes, sir.
Plus or minus 2.57. Okay, so this is 0. This is 0. 2.57 t alpha by 2 equal to 2.57 minus t alpha by 2 equal to minus 2.57. Okay, so this is the critical region. So where is this 1.15 falling?
Between T minus T alpha by 2 and T alpha by 2.
Right. So now what is your decision then? Decision. Okay. Decision. Since minus 2.57 less than t 1.15 less than 2.57. Okay, minus t alpha by 2 less than t alpha by 2. Okay, this implies that do not reject
No.
null hypothesis. Null hypothesis H naught at what level of significance? At
Point.
0.05.
yeah, that means at 5% level of significance. Okay, so the obtained sample values are not significant. Okay, to reject the null hypothesis, they're insignificant. So that means what the company's claim may be accepted, because the question is about can the company's claim be accepted. So what should be your final conclusion? Yes, the company's claim can be accepted at 5% level of significance. Is it okay? So write down the conclusion finally. Therefore, thus company's claim may be accepted at 5% level of significance. Is it okay? So similar way, by changing the level of significance from 0.05 to 0.01 also, you can come find out the test. You can find out, you can take the hypothesis. Shall we go to the next problem?
Yes.
Right. Now, where is this? Just read the second problem. The mean lifetime of computers manufactured by a company is 1120 hours with standard deviation of 125 hours. Okay. The mean lifetime of computers manufactured by company is 1120 hours with standard deviation of 125 hours. Okay. Test the hypothesis that the mean lifetime of computers has not changed if a sample of 8 computers has a mean lifetime of 1170 hours. Okay, Is there any decrease in mean lifetime? Use 0.05 level of significance, 0.01 level of significance. Okay. So can you interpret the data? What is this 1120 refers to?
X bar.
See here,
mu1.
Mu bar.
if a sample of 8 computers has a mean lifetime of 1170, that means what is X bar? X bar is a sample mean.
X bar is 107.
Then what is this 1120 refers to?
Mu.
Mu naught, population, the company's claim, okay, on the whole, okay. So this is mu naught, okay. Okay, you have to test mu equal to 1120 against an alternate hypothesis. Mu not equal to 1120 or mu less than 1120 or mu greater than 1120. Okay. So if you are to apply two-tailed test, you will write mu not equal to 1120. If you want to apply one-tailed test, what test you will apply? What the sample mean lifetime refers to? 1070. Is this 11 less than this or greater than this?
Less than.
Therefore, what test is apt to apply?
Left one test.
Left one test. Okay. So the question is about whether it has changed much or not, or is there any decrease in mean lifetime? Okay. So that means for the in case of first problem, you have to apply two-tailed test. Is there any decrease in the mean lifetime? Okay, from 1120 to sample mean suggesting that 1070 only. That means sample is showing there is a decrease in mean lifetime that we have to test. That means obviously we have to apply left one tail test for this. Okay, for this problem you are asked to apply both solve the problem for different level of significance. So one two-tailed test with two level of significances and one-tailed test with two level of significances. And can you tell this what 125 refers to?
Escape.
See, when you say this is mu, how can this can be escape? This has to be sigma only, no? See, up to this point, it is they're talking about computers. Forget about see problem solving. You just interpret the data. What it is exactly conveying. Okay. See, the data about the sample is started from here only, right? So up to this, they are talking about the computers, the company's computers. There is no sample description, right? So this should be refers to when you accept this is mean of the population. This has to be the standard deviation of the population, no?
Yes, sir.
How can you say one is mean of population, other one is standard deviation of the sample? Do you understand? Either you say both are referring to sample or both are referring to the population. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So here the sample standard deviation is not given, and because population standard deviation is given, you take that as a sample standard deviation. That's all I can say. Because sample standard deviation is not there, you approximate that with the population standard deviation. You take this value as it is. Okay. Now
Yes.
shall we do this problem? Yeah. So minor changes you need to make. Okay, if you really want to apply the test. Okay. So better because data may not be perfect every time. Okay. Sometimes we need to do some minor modifications. So what is the test? What is the null hypothesis? Null hypothesis H naught is 11. Can you tell me? I have poor remembrance. Mu equal to 1170. What is it?
1120.
1120. 11 equal to mu naught is equal to 1120 hours. Okay. What is alternate hypothesis? H naught is H1 is let us apply mu not equal to mu naught in the first part. 2a. Okay, so apply a two-tailed test. Okay, so what is level of significance? Let us take it as 0.01 for the time being now. Okay, and what is mu equal to n minus 1 is equal to let me write here degrees of freedom. Okay, so and d degrees of freedom mu equal to n minus 1 equal to 8 computers, no? So 8 minus 1 equal to 7 degrees of freedom. Okay, what are critical values? Critical values for a two-tailed test plus or minus t alpha, sorry, t alpha
Sir?
by 2.
Level of significance
0.05.
A is 0.05 na sir.
Yeah, yeah. I'm taking
B
it
2
in the
0.01
A
sir.
part. Yeah, 0.01.
For the B 0.01 sir. For the A is
Yeah,
0.05 sir.
yeah, yeah. It's it is no, no, no. You have for A and B both you have to do for different levels of significance.
Okay sir. Okay sir.
Okay. So A part second bit I am telling. Okay. So plus or minus t alpha by 2 comma nu equal to plus or minus t alpha by 2 comma n plus or minus plus t alpha by 2. What is alpha by 2? This is 0.01. Then alpha by 2 is going to be 0.005 comma 7. So this is plus or minus. What is 0.005 comma 7? Here 0.005 comma 7 degrees of freedom is 3.50. 3.50. Do you agree? So 3.50. Okay, 3.50. Therefore, what is the test statistic? Test statistic is going to be t equal to x bar minus mu naught by s cap by root n. Okay, so unfortunately it is not given. Sample standard deviation is not given. 1070 na? Minus 1120 by what is the value? 125 by 125 by root of n is going to be 8. Okay, so compute this value.
minus 1.131.
Minus 1 point.
1313.
So minus 1.13. So what is your decision? Okay, minus 1.13. Okay, so minus 3.5 less than minus 1.13. This implies that minus t alpha by 2 less than t alpha by 2. This implies that do not reject. Do not reject H naught 1% level of significance. Again, it is falling in the non-rejection region. Is it okay?
Yes.
Right. So minus 1.13. Okay. Now we'll just do one more problem and stop quickly. What is that? Now I will apply left one tail test. Okay. So what is that? B part with first level of significance. That means sorry. Let me quickly do it. Null hypothesis. Null hypothesis H naught mu equal to mu naught equal to 1120 Okay, alternate hypothesis H1. Now sample evidence telling that less than, we want to test whether it is decreasing not. So mu less than 120. Okay, mu less than mu naught. So left one tail test. Okay, so critical level of significance. Test choose alpha equal to 0.05 with the degree of freedom mu equal to n minus 1 equal to 8 minus 1 equal to 7. Okay, critical values because if it is a left one tail test, minus t alpha comma nu equal to minus t 0.05 comma 7. So for 0.05 comma 7, where is this here 1.8 1.89, can you see that?
Yes.
1.89, so 1.89, so minus 1.89, so test statistic is going to be same. Test statistic is going to be t equal to x bar minus mu naught by s cap by root n. So this is going to be 1070 minus 1120 divided by 125, 125 by root 10. Is it 125?
Yes.
Equal to minus 1.13. Now again you see, unfortunately again, I don't know whether it is fortunate or unfortunate. So this is minus 1.89. Okay, minus 1.89. Okay, so this is minus 1.89 critical value. Again minus 1.13 falling in non-rejection region. So decision. Okay, since minus 1.13 greater than minus 1.89, t greater than minus t alpha, this implies that do not reject h naught, okay, at 5% level of significance. So what is your conclusion from this? Is there any, do you say that there is a decrease in mean lifetime of computers at 5% level of significance? We are not in favor of this one, no. We are not in favor of H1. We are still believing that mu equal to mu naught only. So what is your understanding from this? What is your conclusion?
It is not decreasing.
There is no significant decrease in the mean lifetime at 5% level of significance. You write that, okay? Don't simply write there is no decrease. There is no significant decrease. Is it okay?
Yes.
So in a similar way, you test this hypothesis for 0.5 for 5% level of significance. You test this hypothesis for 1% level of significance. So two more things are pending. Okay, and the next problem also I shall WhatsApp you. I shall share the question. You try to do this problem. Okay, is it right? So with this, you tell me what you are telling.
Yes, share 3 questions, sir, with intro.
Yeah, I will share. I'll share all the 3 questions also. Okay. So with this, we have completed the discussion on small sample test. Once a small sample test. So after